Russell Westbrook, Los Angeles Clippers. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how you can be that positive about it, right? I don't know. Like I don't know what the case is. I don't think that they needed him to do what they wanted to do this year, which was to like go really deep in the playoffs and maybe win a title. I think there are other teams that probably could have used him more to be like an exciting, like energizing presence or whatever, I guess would be the right way to put it. The Clippers got worse because they have to play him. So because they have to play him, they got worse. It's, you know, if they signed him and then maybe we never saw him, I guess they could be the same or something. But he's going to play. And because he's going to play, I'd love he has a specific role. It better be the same role that he wants to have on every team. That better be the clear and specific role. Because if the clear and specific role is a different role than he's had literally his entire career, then he won't do that and he'll do the role that he wants to do. Like, that's what we know. That's what we know from like everywhere he's ever been. Oh no, well, he'll like be off the ball more, whatever. That's grosser. And I don't even want to think about that. So they got worse. It's because he's friends with the second best player on the team. So the players, you know, talked to the team and wanted them to get him. And now they're going to play him. Two questions would just be, is he ever in the closing five for the team? And if he is, now they're way worse. And they may not make it out of the first round of the playoffs because he's a huge net negative when he's on the court. And he's a terrible defender. And he turns the ball over a lot. And those are like the worst things you could ever do in a playoff series where all of that's magnified. And he can't shoot. Oh, by the way. So, like, cool. Like, he could help a lot. He could help a lot of teams. And that's just not like I can play basketball better than him. But like we've seen this forever. So I don't understand like why this is going to be different. I'll be curious if he closes with the team. If they could somehow convince him that's like a bad idea and other guys should close instead, and he plays not very much, then okay, maybe it's just kind of like a whatever. When we get to the playoffs, is he in the rotation? He has to be, right? If he's going to pick, if he picked the team,
he wouldn't have gone there exactly.
Right. So that's the part where I look at this and I go, oh God, what did they promise him? Like, that's what I think when I see it, is I go, they had to tell him something to not pick Chicago or not pick the Wizards. God, what did they tell him? Or is he so bent on like the Lakers, like, I hate the Lakers, let me go to like the other LA, I don't have to change cities that I live in, and let me go to the Clippers and like, ha ha ha, Lakers, like, you guys stink and I have like some vendetta against you. I don't know if that's it either. It makes sense for none of the people, except like convenience for Westbrook, I guess. It just makes sense for like none of the people involved. The Clippers don't get any better. They probably get worse. And in the playoffs, if they have to play him, they definitely get worse. Because you would rather play like anybody else that you're going to play in your rotation instead of him for the minutes that he's going to play. And then, like, for Westbrook, it's like, what did they tell you? And then whatever they told you, I don't think that's what it's going to be when you get there, because they're going to want to win. Like, they're going to play you despite the fact that doesn't help them.
I mean, he's gonna. One of the reports was that, and like this hasn't been like firmly come out yet.
Right.
The expectation is that he's going to start. Like, he's not going to start right away as he gets acclimated to the team, but
he's going to start instead of Terrence Mann. Right, because Terrence Mann's the starting point guard right now. Like, I'd rather play Terrence Mann. Like, I think this does take minutes from Powell, depending on how many minutes Westbrook plays. So, like, there is a betting application of this, and I hate that this is the case. But, like, Westbrook's going to kill both he and Powell's chances to win six-man, because there's just not enough shots. Like, Powell is like a legit six-man candidate, and you could be like, well, like, they're going to start winning a lot more, and like that helps them, which is possible. Like, they could have a lot of success, but I don't know where the oxygen is for Powell's six-man case to get a lot of run now. Like, the team is Kawhi, Paul George, and you just got Westbrook, and everyone's going to vote for Norman Powell to be sixth man of the year. Like, who's even talking about him? Who's talking about that now, or anything? And what if Westbrook closes with them? What if he closes with them instead of Powell? Just like, that's disaster. So it's not that Powell can't win. I think this like really hurts. I think it really stinks for his chances to win, honestly. And it's not even that like they do the same thing or one has to play instead of the other. I don't know where like the space is for Norman Powell's case to get coverage with like another thing now on the team. And by the way, another player who has to take shots. Has to. And you know where those shots are going to come from probably? Like what, Kawhi Leonard? That's where they're going to come from? They're coming from Norman Powell. Guy shoots a lot. I think it really stinks. And I have Powell to win six-man for like mid five figures, and it's probably dead. And that stinks. And Maxey becomes way more likely to win because we're just running out of bodies that can win the award. And that stinks too, because I think he's a terrible candidate. But there might just be nobody left at the end. Might be Brogdon against him. And then if that's the case, maybe he can win. So yeah, that's like the application is like how much he destroys things. That's like the application of him signing with a team.
Six-man market, Brogdon minus 165, Powell and Maxey plus 350. Russ is 9. That's interesting. He was 20 earlier in the day today. He's 9. Mathurin 50.
Do you think he got bet, or you think they just like dropped him organically, thinking that it like mattered? I had somebody message me like, "Do you think he can win?" And I said, "There's a 0% chance." That's what I said. I don't think he's thought of that way.
I agree.
I think if he also may not come off the bench, which is like kind of a domino you have to knock down. I don't think he's got any. I think everyone would vote for Maxey before him, and I think Maxey's an incredibly flawed candidate. Maxey's going to come off the bench for like 33 games this year and maybe win 6th man of the year. I think everyone would vote for him before Russ. Everyone would definitely vote for Brogdon before Russ, even though Brogdon and Derek White are both kind of like really good bench players for the Celtics. It's an award market where we really might just get to the end and like no one makes sense. And if that happens, then like Maxey's way left to win.
What the hell happened to this? Like, I'm not saying like Russ was ever like the best player in the league.
Right.
Like, he's bad. He wasn't always bad though. I know he won an MVP just based on like counting stats and like wasn't the best player that year, but like won the like he wasn't always terrible. Like now he's terrible. Like his
it kind of fell off a cliff
in the toilet.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. Like you would think as you like get later in your career, I mean, think about how many evolutions like great players sometimes have in their career to still be productive, or they like flame out. Like he still wants to do the same things, right? So the two things that he's like wants to have the ball in his hands a lot and like create, and he turns the ball over at like an absurd rate. He can't shoot, and like the NBA has evolved even more than when he started to be like have to have players on the court who can space the floor, and he can't hit a jumper. And then on defense, he likes to freelance all the time and like come off his guy to get a steal, come off his guy to help on somebody else, like just freelance all the time. And teams don't want to do that either. So it's just like what does he bring to a team today? Like energy off the bench is like the answer to that. Clippers don't need that. What do they need with that? Like they don't, like the Bulls actually really needed that. Like that would actually been fun. Put him back with the Wizards. Remember that year where we bet on the Wizards all the time against good teams,
they were the 8th seed,
160 every game and beat them. Let's get that. That was the most fun I've had.
It's Philly.
It's the most fun we've had watching Westbrook in a decade, probably. That was really fun. So in a playoff series that grinds to it, which is what the Clippers are going to do, grinds to a crawl. This is the guy that unlocks efficiency for them. It's the exact opposite. Like, how could it not be the exact opposite? And he'll have some game early on where he'll have a bunch of points and everybody will say I'm wrong or stupid or whatever. I don't even know if that's going to happen. It's almost like Kyrie at some point. You've just seen the same thing so many times. We just go, we're just going to do this again. Like, we're just going to do this again. They're going to talk themselves into him. And they didn't necessarily get a lot worse, but they probably got a little bit worse. And I think the most important thing is like they had a big name, but they didn't get any better. I think they're probably going to have to play Denver. You're going to play Phoenix. You're going to have to be a lot better than this.
Like the Suns got Kevin Durant. The Clippers got Russell Westbrook.
Well, yeah, right. Suns got Kevin Durant. Oh, by the way, Denver's like by far the best team in the conference so far. Right. Yeah.
I've got like, I was just thinking back of like Russ's, as you said, like the most fun we've had watching Russ recently. I was thinking about the bubble series again that Houston had against the Lakers when I bet the Rockets in every game.
Yeah.
And, like they won that first game and how exciting that was. And then
You took that win for like a victory. I mean, for like a marathon. You took that win for you did like a 5K with it. I mean, that was they got this. You're all stupid. They're gonna win the series. You got a lot of run. And it was in the moment. It was incredibly funny. The days leading into the series and winning game 1, that was incredibly funny.
It was really good. Was Capella on that team or PJ Tucker played the 5, I guess? I thought Capella was on that team also on that Rockets team. I could be wrong.
Well, he was for a time.
Yeah,
at the time. Right? Who knows? They traded him. There you go. That's what happened. So, oh man, I don't know. That was such like a harsh negative evaluation. I don't know I don't know what the counter is. I just don't know. Anybody who takes minutes from should have the minutes instead, which stinks.
Well, so let's just do like a little analysis here, and maybe it's futile, faux, fit into a clear and specific role. Is that does that mean like he's eventually like he'll start the game and then they'll bring him in like with the second unit and he's not going to close? Like, is that what clear and specific role means? Because like to me, like you would never like the Suns would never acquire Kevin Durant to be like because he fits into the role is Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. Like maybe there's something to that, and they're gonna use it. And to be fair, Ty Lue's not dumb. Jerry West isn't dumb.
What did they tell him that he was awesome? I mean, it has to be that you're closing or you're starting with Kawhi and Paul George, like your buddy. Like they're going to tell him you're going to come off the bench and never play with those guys and we're going to play you 18 minutes. And he was like, yep, that's the role. That's it. Which is even a bad role for him on that team. I don't understand. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And any minute that he plays is a bad minute for the team winning. So like there are no good minutes. You can't come up with them. They don't exist. When he's on the court, he's a net negative for sure.